Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. On this video tonight I am going to be giving you a preview for the Manchester United RP Leipzig game in the Champions League at Old Trafford, 8 o'clock kickoff on Wednesday. It is our second game in the group stage. We won our first game in the group against PSG by 2-1, so we are looking to make it back-to-back wins in the Champions League. Now, RP Leipzig, they won their first game in the group. They beaten Istanbul Başakşehir by 2-0. In the Bundesliga, they've won 4 out of 5 games. They recently beat Hertha Berlin by 2-1. They came from behind. RP Leipzig's current manager is Julian Nagelsmann. Seems to be a pretty good manager, to be fair. RP Leipzig is the second club in his managerial career, because before he was at RP Leipzig, I think he was at 1899 Hoffenheim. In his playing career, he played for 1860 Munich. I think he was the captain at that point, and he also played for Augsburg. Now, Leipzig have got some good players in their team. They've got that Emil Forsberg, who I rate a lot. They've got Danny Olmo, very good attacking player. They've got that Christopher Nkunku, who I like a lot. Obviously, they've got Dayot Upamecano, who's one of their centre-halves. Don't forget, my club, Manchester United, were interested in him. So this will be a tough game. RP Leipzig have got some injuries. It says here that they've got Tyler Adams injured. They've got Marcel Halstenberg out, Lucas Klosterman out, Fabrice Hartmann, Konrad Laimer, if I pronounce his name correctly, and Norde Mukiel, whoever you pronounce his name. By the way, this is the first ever meeting between Manchester United and RP Leipzig. Now, I do think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will make changes from the 0-0 draw with Chelsea recently. Now, Martial should be starting this game. Obviously, Martial didn't play any part in the Chelsea game because obviously he's suspended. Martial got sent off in our 6-1 defeat to Tottenham. Shouldn't have been sent off, but did get sent off. But he's served 2 of his games now in the league, so he's only got 1 game to serve in the league, and then, Martial will be back, obviously. Martial hasn't enjoyed the best of starts to the season. This is before he got that suspension, but I thought it was very, very good last season under Solskjaer. And he was also very good in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. Martial's enjoyed around 5 years or so at the football club. Donny van der Beek, now he needs to start this game against RP Leipzig, but he may not start this game. Donny van der Beek has not yet made his full debut for the football club, and a lot of Manchester United fans are becoming very infuriated over this. Solskjaer was saying prior to the Chelsea game about Donny van der Beek, about his lack of playing time, and he said, he needs to settle in, he needs to adapt, and Solskjaer obviously wants to find his best position, because Van der Beek can play in like 3 different roles, but is predominantly a box-to-box midfielder. He didn't play any part whatsoever in the Chelsea game. So I want to see him in action. Alex Telles I'm expecting him to be involved. Alex Telles didn't play any part in the Chelsea game, so he didn't make his Premier League debut. He did play in the game against PSG though, did Alex Telles, and he was very, very impressive on his debut, and I think he's going to be a very good signing for Man United, and I expect to see more from him. We got Telles for just over £15 million, with add-ons included, and Telles signed a 4-year contract with the football club with an option of a further year. Axel Tuanzebe, now I want him to start this game on Wednesday. Axel Tuanzebe didn't play any part in the Chelsea game. He should have started the Chelsea game because Tuanzebe was very, very impressive in our 2-1 win against PSG. And that was Axel Tuanzebe's first start against PSG in 10 months for Manchester United. Solskjaer was talking about Tuanzebe recently. You know, he's challenged Axel Tuanzebe to add consistency to ensure that he has a long career at Manchester United. But obviously Solskjaer's hopeful that he will remain injury-free. Axel Tuanzebe's had quite a few injuries. To be honest with you, I prefer him over Victor Lindelof. Paul Pogba. Now, do you think he'll start this game on Wednesday? Paul Pogba hasn't started any of our last 3 games. Obviously, he started on the bench, but he's obviously come on as a substitute. Now, I give you the latest news regarding Paul Pogba on my video that I did this morning. Paul Pogba has denied quitting the France national team, and reportedly he's going to take action on this because Emmanuel Macron, who is the France president, he was saying about Islam and terrorism or something like that. But yeah, Paul Pogba has denied it anyway. I'm expecting Paul Pogba to leave the football club next summer. Obviously, we can cash in for him next summer, Paul Pogba. Because the other week, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. So that keeps him at the football club until June 2022. And this was confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. A few weeks ago, Paul Pogba made an admission saying that one day he wants to join Real Madrid. And last year, he was talking a lot about Real Madrid and Zinedine Zidane, and you know, Paul Pogba said he wanted to leave Manchester United because he was seeking for a new challenge. Mundo Deportivo said a few weeks ago that Barcelona were interested in him on getting him on a free. This was before we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. There's obviously been stories of Pogba going back to Juventus. Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus, didn't he? But the vast majority of his performances at Man United have been totally comparison to his ones at Juventus. By the way, Solskjaer recently made an admission regarding Paul Pogba, saying that he came back from coronavirus too soon. And Solskjaer, what he's basically saying is he doesn't want to put him straight into the starting 11. Because Paul Pogba got tested positive for coronavirus back in August, didn't he? Paul Pogba's into his 5th season at Manchester United since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. Like I said, he sustained quite a few injuries. You know, last season was out with that ankle injury. Pogba's sustained a few injuries though, hasn't he? Like I said, as it stands at the moment, Pogba's our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. He hasn't enjoyed the best of starts to this season either. Pogba has made over 100 appearances for us in all competitions since he rejoined, and he's won the Europa League and League Cup with us. So I think if we sell him next summer, you know, we can get probably from between 60 to 70 million pounds. We'll find it difficult to get more than the 89 million that we paid for him. Pogba's agent Mino Raiola We was critical of him at the turn of the year because he publicly criticised Solskjaer and Manchester United, didn't he? Now, Nemanja Matic, he's an option in midfield. We may not go with him because, like I mentioned, Matic has now lost his place in the team. Matic has improved. I thought he had some good games towards the end of last season. Was it at the start of this season? Matic signed a 3-year deal with the club. We got Matic for around £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Matic has been at the football club now around 3 years or so. Fred and McTominay now, do you think they'll get a rest, Fred and McTominay? Because they've played in our last 3 games. Yeah, they've started our last 3 games of Fred and McTominay. And to be fair, they've done quite well, to be honest with you. McTominay's really impressed me. He really impressed me in the PSG game. I thought he kept the ball well. He nullified PSG's attack. Very impressive. And I know I've been critical of McTominay before. He committed his future at Man United anyway because after the first lockdown, McTominay signed a 5-year deal with the football club. And as for Fred, not a world-class midfielder, but still improved under Ole. I thought he was a world-class midfielder when he was at Shakhtar Donetsk. We paid £52 million for Fred from Shakhtar Donetsk, and Fred has got a contract with us until 2023, hasn't he? Mason Greenwood, he should be starting this game. Mason Greenwood didn't start against Chelsea, surprisingly, but he came on right near the end. Before the Chelsea game, he missed the last 2 games, didn't he? Solskjaer was talking about Mason Greenwood recently, saying that the English media are starting to go after him. He also defended Greenwood, didn't he? Saying that he defended Mason Greenwood, saying he blasts our ex-players for criticising him. Now, and Solskjaer also denied that Mason Greenwood's timekeeping was poor. We had a few issues with Mason Greenwood earlier on in the season, and it confirmed at the start of the season we give Greenwood that number 11. You know, Mason Greenwood's the 4th Manchester United player to wear that number 11 shirt. This is his 2nd season in the senior squad. You know, last season he broke into our first team squad, didn't he? Did Mason Greenwood. Edison Cavani, now, he didn't start against Chelsea, so he didn't make his full debut, but he did come on in the Chelsea game, so made his debut. Cavani almost scored with his first touch in the Chelsea game, and he did very, very well. I don't think he'll start this one against Leipzig, because I think Martial will start ahead of him. We got Edison Cavani on a free transfer on deadline day, didn't we? He signed a 2-year contract with the club worth around 220 grand a week. And obviously Edison Cavani is our number 7. And I said to you, he will be the next Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Marcus Rashford. I'm expecting him to play in this game. Marcus Rashford was one of our best players against Chelsea recently, like I mentioned, had 2 very, very good chances. And he's improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Obviously, at the start of the season, Rashford had an ankle injury. He had the back injury for us last season when he was out for a few months. But yeah, Rashford has been part of the club for several years. Rashford was also the hero in Paris. Scored the winner. That's the 2nd time he scored the winner in Paris. Bruno Fernandes should be involved. Bruno Fernandes wasn't that good against Chelsea, to be fair. It was very, very quiet. It did look dangerous though when he had the ball. There's been a couple of games where Bruno Fernandes has looked a bit off the pace, but pride that he's had a good career so far with Man United. Fernandes has endured around 9 months at the football club, and he's done well. Obviously, last season won Premier League Player of the Month around 3 times. He obviously won some at Busby Player of the Year award, and the vast majority of Bruno Fernandes' goals have come from the penalty spot, haven't they? Wan-Bissaka, he should keep his place in the team. Wan-Bissaka's really impressed me in his last 3 games. Really stepped up to the plate because Pride's 3 games didn't endure the best of starts to the season. Wan-Bissaka, he did score, by the way, in the game against Newcastle. That was his first goal for Manchester United, and it was his 50th appearance against Newcastle. This is his second season at the club. We got him in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace last summer. David De Gea, he'll remain in goal. Like I said, David De Gea will remain our number 1 this season. De Gea's impressed me in his last 3 games. Kept his first clean sheet against Chelsea of the season, didn't he? Does leak a lot of goals, De Gea, doesn't he? He's made some good saves in the last few games. Didn't really have much to do against Chelsea, did he? You know, this season is David De Gea's 10th season at the football club. You know, so he has been a long servant. Harry Maguire, I think, you know, he'll start. We should put him alongside Tuan Zebe, like I've already said. Maguire's stepped it up recently. He wasn't too bad in the Chelsea game. Obviously, could have given a penalty away in the Chelsea game, obviously for pulling Azpilicueta down. He was good in the Newcastle game as well. He didn't play in the PSG game, did he? Harry Maguire, because he was out with an injury. He did have early season troubles though, got sent off in England's 1-0 defeat to Denmark. He also had that incident in Greece the other month. As it stands at the moment, Harry Maguire is the most expensive centre-half in the world because we got him in a deal worth £80 million. Didn't we? I think Victor Lindelof should be dropped, like I've said. Shouldn't start the game, but he may start the game. Juan Mata, don't think he'll start this game either. He surprisingly started in the Chelsea game. I said Juan Mata was going to be involved in the Chelsea game, but I didn't expect him to start, obviously. Juan Mata, you know, has enjoyed a pretty good start to the season, though, because he did well in both of our cup games against Luton and Brighton. Also did well in the Newcastle game. Juan Mata's enjoyed around, 6 years at the football club, something like that. Scored 50 goals in 259 appearances in all competitions. And the other week, Juan Mata rejected an £18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. But Mata obviously wants to stay at Manchester United, don't they? He wants to stay. Shaw, he may not start this one, like I've said. Depends what formation Solskjaer goes with, doesn't it? You know, is he going to stick with a 4-2-3-1? He went with a 4-2-3-1 against Chelsea. We don't look... It doesn't really seem to suit our standards, that 4-2-3-1 formation, but Solskjaer's gone a lot with that formation since he got appointed in. Against PSG, in our first game in the group stage, he obviously went with the 5-3-2 formation. We looked very, very good with that, to be fair. A few times as well, he's gone with that 4-3-3 formation. Shaw could be involved, but he may not start the game. Eric Bailly's obviously not available because he's out with a muscle injury. Solskjaer confirmed he's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks. That's my element of concern about Bailly, too injury prone. Lingard, he's obviously been out of a knock. He won't play anyway because he's now not a regular, Jesse Lingard. I think is Phil Jones still out with injury. Jones obviously, wouldn't be selected anyway unless, we had no choice but to select him. Williams, you can say now he's lost his place in the team, Brandon Williams. Since the arrival of Tellez, he's found game time hard. Williams did play in a 2-1 win against Everton recently. That was the under-23s. Also, too, Rojo played in that under-23s game, and so too did Facundo Pellistri. That was Facundo Pellistri's first appearance for Man United. We paid around £9 million for Facundo Pellistri from Pennyroll. He signed a 5-year contract with the club, didn't he, Facundo Pellistri? With an option of a further year, wasn't there? At the start of this season, by the way, we give Brandon Williams the number 33 shirt. He's the first player to wear the number 33 for Man United since Paddy McNair. We could actually loan Brandon Williams out, couldn't we, next year? Rojo, obviously, he doesn't get in the team now. He'll be offloaded, I think, next year. I heard recently that Sheffield United have been interested in getting him out on loan. Odion Ighalo, he's available for selection for Wednesday's game. I don't think he'll be selected though. He won't start. Definitely won't start. Odion Ighalo doesn't get a lot of chances now, does he? Obviously doesn't get starts. Last season though impressed me, Ighalo, because he was our top goal scorer in the FA Cup. The main explanation why we got Odion Ighalo on deadline day of January was to get a cover-up to Marcus Rashford. Now, after the first lockdown, we extended Odion Ighalo's loan until January 2021, didn't we? Tomorrow, I'll give you my starting 11 prediction for this game. Ollie will be doing his press conference tomorrow as well ahead of the game. But if we can avoid defeat in this game against RP Leipzig, we will be 4 unbeaten in all competitions. We are unbeaten in our last 3 games, aren't we? We've got a tough game at the weekend. That's in the Premier League. That's Arsenal at home. Then after Arsenal, it's Istanbul Başakşehir. That's our other opponent in the group stage. And then after that, it's Everton, and that's also going to be a tough game. So games are coming thick and fast for Manchester United, aren't they? Now, there's a lot of uncertainty regarding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's future at the football club. And I said to you earlier on, this is a massive week for Manchester United. I think Solskjaer will end up getting sacked. I can't see him being here by January. I really can't. Obviously, before the Newcastle and PSG game, Solskjaer was under serious pressure. That was after the 6-1 defeat to Tottenham. Then reflect on the wins against Newcastle and PSG. A lot of pressure eased off him. But now, obviously, we didn't beat Chelsea. Maybe some pressure is back on him. Now, we've played 5 games in the league so far this season. We've won 2, we've lost 2, and we've drawn 1. And that's not good enough. It really isn't. And reflects on that, we're sitting, 15th in the Premier League? 15th. So we are near the relegation zone. Solskjaer is in the exact same position as what he was in at the first part of last season, because at the first part of last season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season, didn't we? And I think we'll make a decision on Solskjaer soon. I think if we sack Solskjaer, probably Pochettino will be our next manager. I heard Man City want Pochettino now, though, because they could possibly sack Guardiola. I heard Pochettino was linked with a managerial role at Man United, though, before Solskjaer got the job permanently in March last year. A few weeks ago, it said we was looking at Massimiliano Allegri as an alternative. Now, if we do sack Solskjaer, it'll only cost the club around, £4 million. Cost the club around £4 million, yeah. Solskjaer still got a contract with us until 2022. So he's got under 2 years left on his contract. Solskjaer's been Manchester United manager now for almost 2 years. We appointed him in December 2018 and he's been permanent Manchester United manager since March 2019, hasn't he? And he's managed, is it 100 games or nearly 100 games as Manchester United manager? And he's won over 50 games as Man United manager, hasn't he? You know, Solskjaer's into his second season as Manchester United manager, and I said, didn't I, at the start of this season, what would represent a good season for Man United, and that would be to finish in the top four and also win a trophy. You know, we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, and we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years, have we? And I've said to you what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to do to not get sacked, and that's results have obviously got to get better. And they did in that win against Newcastle and PSG, but it's obviously got to continue from that. I said when we beat PSG, we've got to build on that. Like I said, Solskjaer's got to improve his decision making because in a lot of his games at Manchester United, he's been very tactically naive. That's a concern. Got it wrong against Chelsea. He really did get it wrong against Chelsea, didn't he? Like I said, players have got to step up to the plate. To be fair, they have stepped up to the plate recently. You know, the players that were obviously, underperforming. Still think there's some players that have got to improve. But yeah, but like I've said to you, I want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure to work out because I like him a lot. He was a great player for the football club for 11 years. He flourished under Ferguson's guidance, but just probably isn't good enough to succeed as a manager because he hasn't got that proven pedigree. You know, Man United is the third club in his managerial career. You know, Solskjaer is our fourth permanent manager since the Ferguson era. We've sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era, and that was Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. So we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers. Like I said to you though, in the summer transfer window, Solskjaer wasn't backed enough. The board have not backed our managers enough that we've had since Ferguson retired. They didn't back Moyes enough, they didn't back Van Gaal enough, they didn't back Mourinho enough, and they didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough. And this is one of the reasons why we've been very, very critical of the board. But Woodward recently said in a lengthy statement that, he's going to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but he said, said it before. We missed out on all of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority targets in that summer transfer window, and we missed out on a lot of targets in general. You know what I mean? But our recruitment policy has been poor for several years. And like I've already said, I think it'd be very beneficial if Manchester United could get a director of footballing. It really, really would be beneficial. I credit Solskjaer for what he did last season. Like I mentioned, he got us qualification for the Champions League. Also got us third, and he guided us to 3 semi-finals. So that was good. Solskjaer has spent over £200 million since he became Manchester United manager and brought around 10 senior players in. Also brought a few academy players into the club. We've seen a lot of players depart the club since Solskjaer got recommended in. You know, I like the way that Solskjaer has promoted the youth because the young players have been given their chances, and we've also had some good periods under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. You know what I mean? But in the last 7 years or so, we have been inconsistent. We've made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years or so. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. So the last time we won it was in Ferguson's last season, We spent nearly £1 billion on players in the last 7 years or so. And we've recruited over 30-odd players in since the Sir Alex Ferguson era, haven't we? So, there you go. And obviously, earlier on today, I give you the news regarding Erling Haaland, didn't I? Solskjaer wants Man United to sign him. We've renewed our interest in him. This is stemming from The Athletic, isn't it? But yeah, Man United will look to make a couple of more signings next year. We're obviously going to offload more players next year, like I've already gone through with you. So yeah. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very difficult game, this RP Leipzig one. I think there's a lot of people that still fancy Man United to win it. They did, by the way, Leipzig lost Timo Werner in the summer. He was a prolific goal scorer for Leipzig, but it hasn't affected them. You know, they're still doing very, very well out there. You know, last season they got to the Champions League semi-finals, don't forget. RP Leipzig, so there. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.